Hello, my name's Roseanne Gallagher, and I'm the author of the trilogy Memories of Lockdown. I've just published my fourth book, Memories of the Lockdown Years. And the purpose of my chat today is to introduce one of my writers to you. Bob's written in all four books and helped me enormously on putting the books together. So I'd like to welcome today Bob Hellyer. Bob, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Roseanne.
Jolly good. And where are you speaking to us from?
From a tiny little town called Somerton,
Mhm.
which used to be the capital of Wessex, strangely, ironically, because it's a tiny little town. But it's on a hill, so that's where I am in Somerset, just
Yes.
outside of Glastonbury.
Okay. And if I may say so, it's very, very beautiful. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm just down the road in a town called Street, which is also just outside Glastonbury. So there we are. Both of us are speaking to you today from Somerset in the beautiful southwest of England. So to kick us off, Bob, a difficult question first. I'm going to ask you, where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I was born in Shoreham-on-Sea in a maternity hospital. The family lived in Bognor Regis, and that's where I grew up for the first 2 years
Mhm.
until my sister was born. Then we moved out to a little village called Felpham, which is in between Bognor and Littlehampton.
Mhm.
And that's where we were for the rest of, well, until 1980-ish.
Okay. So that's where you grew up. So where did you go to school?
I went to school, a little primary school called Pennyfields, um, and I didn't pass my 11 plus,
Hmm.
um, which I was quite grateful for in the future, actually. Um,
In
and
those
then,
days, perhaps we should point out in those days there was an examination when you were aged 11, wasn't there, just before you went on to what we call secondary school or high school, where
yeah,
if you passed the 11 plus, you were considered an academic and you went on to a grammar school. And if you failed the 11 plus, you were considered not an academic and you immediately went on to what we called then a comprehensive school. Am I right?
yes, they thought I was probably more suited to be a plumber
Yeah, great. And it's a,
or
all of those
whatever.
fantastic
But
trades.
that, but it, there are lots of things talked about the 11 plus and things, and how they worked it out, I don't know. But I definitely was not an academic.
Hmm.
I was more a practical person,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it was quite obvious from that. That's what I enjoyed.
yeah. So that's what suited you. So did you have any idea while you were at school going through those years of what you wanted to do when you left school? Did you have an influence there?
Yes, when I was at the William Fletcher uh, School, which is now the Bognor Comprehensive,
Hmm.
um, my favourite subjects were the hands-on stuff like physics and maths,
Yeah.
uh, metal work, woodwork, engineering, drawing, all that sort of stuff. Loved it. Wasn't at all interested in geography or history or those sort of things. They came later in life, but I was definitely a physical person. But no, I had no real aspirations until our physics teacher, who was a typical mad professor, he ran a radio club in the evening, which I joined, and we made our own transistor radios and that sort of thing, grounding in electronics. So that really sort of set the my first
Oops.
avenue, if you like.
Hmm.
I got a couple of well, I got an A level
Hmm.
and a couple of almost A levels. So I went looking for a job,
Yeah.
and I got a job at the BBC through looking at the Telegraph, finding out what jobs were available, which is
Yeah.
what we did in those days.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the BBC were looking for potential technicians, and it was entertainment, it was electronics, everything that I was interested in. And so they paid me for taking a 4-month course in electronics,
Mhm.
which I thought, well, can't be bad, really.
Mhm.
£13 a week.
Excellent.
But it was really hard work. It was like a degree course in 4 months instead of 4 years. But I came away with a lot of knowledge.
Yes.
I didn't pass the final exam. They had a 75% pass rate or something
Mm.
ridiculous, but they can't take everyone, can they? And I ended up doing a bit of I nearly said shoplifting.
No, we won't talk about that.
No, shop fitting.
Yeah.
And then I got a job at the Esplanade Theatre in Bognor,
Mm.
tiny little theatre on the
Yeah.
seafront.
Yeah.
I was house electrician there, did all the electrical stuff there, operated the lighting and things for the local rep company, and all the summer spectaculars, which were called Dazzle. We nicknamed them Drizzle, but that was great fun. Excellent fun. And wrestling. I was very often a steward at the wrestling as well, which is equally funny.
Yeah.
It's strange how every bout, the last bout, finished dead on 10-10, so that the old grannies could get their last bus home.
Oh, how
And
marvellous.
at the end of the show,
All the Bognor
in the
Regis grannies going to watch the wrestling at the
yeah, yeah,
Esplanade Theatre.
yeah.
Sorry
My,
about that.
my,
I was looking down, not because I was disinterested, but I've put a stopwatch on so that we don't
yes,
ramble on
yes,
too long.
yeah.
Okay. So
Yes, and then they were all chums in the bar afterwards, having a pint with each other. Yeah, and you could hear them. I'm not hurting you too much, am I? No, that's all right.
oh, I love it.
And then I moved on to an electronics company in Chichester.
Yeah.
They sent me to day release for an electronics course in Chichester. It was the College of Further Education in those days. It's now the Chichester University or something like that.
Probably, yes.
But yeah, so I got a job there, wiring computer peripherals and things, and well, that's where I was after all that stuff in the past.
Okay, so am I right in thinking that your job in Chichester, before they let you out on your day release, which also sounds as if you were actually in prison at that time, but anyway, your job in Chichester was at a place next to the Chichester High School for Girls?
Very close,
I
yeah.
thought so. So I would mention at this time of the conversation that that's where Bob and I first knew each other, because I was at the Chichester High School for Girls. We were a bunch of girls that were all 17 at the time. And all of our boyfriends, including Bob, he was the boyfriend of one of my girlfriends, we were there and the boys were all working sort of in and around Chichester doing things. So Bob used to drive past us on the way to school every day in a van. Tell us about that van, Bob. What was that van connected to?
The van, yes, that was the transport for the Aztec mobile discotheque
Yeah,
and light show.
yeah,
Um, Two of my oldest friends, Graham Russell, Bill Ivans, and eventually Nick Jones. We all got together one day, and Graham said, we want, how do you feel about a mobile disco? And I thought, sounds okay. And he said, can you build us one? So I said, yes. And I did. Yeah, I built the first disco. Went through several changes after that, getting more and more professional, as we went on.
Yeah.
Yes, and the van was there's the Aztec van, yeah. AZTEQUE, as in discotheque.
Yes, and that was the van you used to drive past us in our school uniforms at the side of the road, waving to you each morning when you were on your way to work, and we were often on our way into school to check in for assembly and come right back out again and do whatever we'd planned for the day, which
Yeah,
wasn't very good. So okay,
I
so
think
from there, yeah,
I think Spot the Loony was
yep,
one
spot
of
the
the
loony.
phrases used.
Okay, so the Aztec discotheque was not your full-time job at all, was it? You were working
No,
at a day job, but you four were doing the disco. So yeah, tell us a
yeah.
bit about it.
Weekends, yeah. We used to do private parties, any sort of event that people wanted music at, and we'd go and do that. We even had a residency at Buckland's, funnily enough, at the staff bar. I forget what it's called now. Yeah, there's about 1,000 people, I suppose, in
Yeah.
there, and we were the act on there. We were dodging beer glasses as they were thrown about all over the place. You know, the normal sort of thing in that situation. Yeah, and that was it led us on to Nick Jones, who was one of the I wouldn't say founders, but he was one of the very strongest people who initiated our light show, really.
Yeah.
He worked in London and was highly connected. He was connected with the music business.
Yes.
He was a writer for the Melody Maker, first person to interview the Who, apparently. His father was the jazz critic, Max Jones. And he had connections in the lighting area. And we used to hire effects for our light show, bubble wheels, liquid wheels, all that sort of stuff, projectors and things, from a company called Entech.
Yeah.
And that was sort of like entry into the music business as a whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a big influence on us, Nick.
Yeah. So yes, I would say
he
that
changed the whole direction of my life, actually.
Yeah, exactly. And coming back to Nick Jones, he was a huge influence on all of us. He introduced us to, we were all music fanatics anyway, and that was part of what brought us all together as a crowd. But when Nick came along with all his incredible knowledge, yes, his contacts, his influence of the music world in London, it just opened up a whole new world for many of us, didn't us? He was a huge, positive, wonderful influence on us all. So thank you, Nick. Big shout out to you. Yeah. Yeah. So tell us about Entech.
Well, Entech, yes. Because we had a connection with them through the disco, they also had a mobile disco. But when they were overbooked, they'd give us a call and say, can you do this one for us? So we did. So we had quite a good link together. And then one day they said, would any of you like to come along and help us out with the electrics at the Reading Festival? This was 1974, and at the time,
Okay.
It was the Jazz and Blues Festival, the Reading Jazz and Blues Festival.
Yeah.
So we said, yeah, yeah, why not? Why not at
Mm,
all?
mm,
So I took my holiday from Data 100, where I was working
mm.
at the time, and went to and worked on the Reading Festival. And along with me came a lot of the people who I'd known from school, really
Yes.
like the age of
Yes.
5. And it was the Reading Festival was run by Marquee Enterprises,
Mm,
so the Marquee Club, etc., etc.
yeah.
Brilliant, but it was run by a guy called Pat Chapman. The Entech was run by Pat Chapman,
Mm,
and we all ended up working for Entech full time.
yeah.
There was me, John Bowley, Pat Fisher, Ian Ross, Nick Jones,
Mm,
Martin Nicholas,
mm.
and someone called Roseanne Gallagher at one time as well.
Well, I was very peripheral. I was just one of the office girls at that time for a short while. But yeah, all of you lot really got your teeth into the what, lighting and sound, or
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah.
no, not at that time. They didn't. Entech didn't have a sound system.
Oh, okay, okay.
The next year they did because Ricky Farr, who was doing the sound for the first one, I'm not quite sure why he didn't, but
Mm,
and in '75, I believe Entech bought a Martin system, Martin PA system, which was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But there was a problem with the active crossovers, and they blew up just about every bass bin
yeah.
in there.
Those active crossovers. Good. So, Bob, that might be a good point for us to finish our part one chat with your arrival at Entech, and then will you come back and talk to us about how you went on with Entech, how you worked with them, how that did change your life, and going on to life on the road?
Absolutely.
Okay, so shall we leave it there?
Yep.
All right, folks, we will be back, and I'm going to ask Bob to bring a picture, a photograph of himself, which I do remember at Reading Rock Festival. And I've got one which you might not remember, which is quite funny, actually. I'll try and dig that out. Okay. Okay, Bob,
Looking
see you
forward to it.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.